particular story, but I've seen a lot of male survivors deal with the men can't get raped deal,
right.
which is always fun when you're sick. Like, yeah, you can. So there's that. Tiffany, go ahead with what you were going to say.
Yeah, okay, so I have a couple parts to that. Lucinda, I wrote a book on childabuse.com called There's a Light Within You That Never Goes Out, and it's real actual stories of incest and abuse survivors, adult survivors, and it's free to download. It's called There's a Light Within You That Never Goes Out, and it's on childabuse.com. And so if any of you guys want a free download, I donated it about 4 years ago. Just because there's so many people that need help and that are afraid to seek it because a lot of people feel a lot of guilt and shame when it comes to childhood abuse. With that, there's a lot of times I've heard that people who have been abused as kids or traumatized, not even just sexually, just abused, end up in bad relationships because they think that they're used to the abuse. So then the toxicity kind of carries with them because they're not exposed to healthy relationships or something like that. That would make sense. But for you not to know what abuse is, yes, I think you are one of the first and foremost that if you've gone through abuse and endured it as a child, of course you know what it is. And remember, Mike, we had this meme, and I put a meme on Facebook, and it was in regards to childhood trauma, it is not your fault. And I put that in bold. It is not your fault, and there's no shame in seeking help. And then there's some guy that was on there, and he was like, well, some kids lie about it and all this stuff. And it was just like, are you kidding me? That has nothing to do with the meme I just posted. You remember that, Mike? And then
I did.
and then I ended up blocking him because he was offending some of my fellow trauma survivors and stuff like that. And, I'm sorry, but I would always believe the child. Always. Yeah. First and foremost. And then investigate to see. But at the same time, kids don't make that stuff up. And of course they know what it's abuse, or else you guys wouldn't be talking about it. You find out what's healthy in the world, and then who's to say, unless they are an abuser themselves, which is what I think, then they're like more like suck it up or whatever because they're the predator kind of person, narcissistic or antisocial or whatever it is. Anybody that can abuse a child like that has something severe.
Well, I also hate that statement that people make that if you are abused, you're going to be an abuser too. I hate that stigma.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that aren't. A lot of people don't turn out like that. I mean, most people don't. There are some people that, once abused, and it's usually a child that's reacting because they've been pre-exposed. Right. And it's not because they're trying to be a predator. It's that somebody taught them, and they don't understand it.
And what I do for a living, just so that you guys know, I actually help families who are dealing with child protective services and children that are actually abused in the system, who are traumatized by the system. Because I myself was severely traumatized. I was in 13 different foster homes.
Wow, that's a lot.
And raped, mentally abused, physically abused. I've had almost every bone in my body broken at one point or another. They tried to crush my head. Had to wear a helmet for 2 years because they threw me downstairs, breaking my skull. I mean, these are the type of things that I suffered. And
someone's telling you don't know what abuse is.
Right, they're telling me I
that's
don't know what abuse is. And here's the thing: Dr. Phil made a big deal about spankings 30 years ago. I was in a group home where they helped me get my mind on, I want to not allow my abusers to have power over me. That's what they kept counseling to me. Mm-hmm. Don't allow your abusers to have power over you. You are who you are. Don't allow anybody, because I was labeled mentally retarded. I was told I couldn't learn. I had 3 psychiatrists say that I couldn't learn. I may have learning disabilities, but with them encouraging me to do the right thing and take a reflection on myself, we got evil people in this world who do evil, wicked things. They will have to answer for that. But I answer for how I live, and I'm not going to allow my abusers to have power over me. True. I hate the word I'm a survivor. I'm not a survivor.
Yes,
I'm
you
an
are.
overcomer.
Well, either way,
I had to overcome.
I think those two kind of go hand in hand, though, as long as it's not victimizing,
Right.
So surviving and overcoming, I mean, to me, that kind of are correlating in a positive way.
Right. But for me, I wanted to, all the challenges that I had to overcome, was I don't just want to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
I want to overcome the label mentally retarded. So I went and I got my degree.
Who labeled you as MR?
The Department of Social Services in the state of Maine.
Did they give you an IQ test or something?
Yes. And the reason was, the problem was, I was getting raped every night.
Right.
And
did they give you a test when you weren't getting currently abused?
No, they refused. And when I tried to
might want to get retested.
My education, I did. I'm above average.
Of course you are.
Completely.
I could tell just by talking to you. That's why I was saying you don't sound.
But when I petitioned for them to remove that label so I could get the grant money to pay for my student loans, they refused and said we don't have to. Even though I was warded the state till I was 20, had to get permission to even get married because I aged out of the system. They refused to acknowledge the fact. I even had the school petition, and they still refused to acknowledge the fact that I'm not mentally retarded, and still to this day refuse to remove that label so that I can get my student loans paid for through grant money.
What state do you live in?
Well, I live in Missouri, but I grew up in the state of Maine.
I don't know what the law statutes are there, but we could talk after the show and see what we can game plan or, on a later date and see what we can do to figure that out. I know that there's got to be some people listening that know what to do.
Well, I would appreciate it. I tried petitioning it. I even went to the senator's office, tried to petition it. My professors tried to petition and write letters for me.
Right, because it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, they refused. Absolutely refused.
Everyone should have the right to be reassessed because if somebody was wrong.
Right. I mean, but the fact
have
is
that to go on your record.
Master's degrees. I'm 12 credits away from a doctorate. Acknowledge that.
Sorry, but people with learning disabilities can get that far, but it's not likely, not with that kind of learning disability. And yeah, if there's trauma currently going on, who's going to take a test or do anything with full concentration when you're getting massively abused at home? That's why kids' school grades drop. That's why, those are warning signs too.
Right. If a child is sleeping all day, clearly something's happening at night.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I actually hid at the school under desk, and they actually had to have the bus captain sign that he picked me up and dropped me off because I would hide at the school between the wall. They had these wall dividers, and I would hide at school so I wouldn't have to go home and be raped and beaten severely.
Bless your heart.
Beaten when I got home. And so I didn't want to go home.
Maybe you wanted to get more in trouble so that you would get detention, all that stuff, so that would give you a good excuse to not be there.
Well, I would hide. And the second people started showing up for school, I'd come out. But the thing is, then I got caught. One of the teachers caught me. And she's like, "You've been here all night?" And I was like, yeah. And that's when they were like, "Well, you can't spend the night at school." But the foster parents didn't even report I didn't come home.
Yeah, of course. Then they're probably sitting there wondering, oh, gosh, who's she telling?
Right. But, and anytime I said anything, I got the beatings worse. And so I quit talking. I became almost nonverbal.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's why I am so passionate about trying to help these kids who have been so traumatized by the system, who don't have a voice.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, the system just traumatizes them and don't give them a voice. And then want to just medicate them and deaden their senses and make them become zombies, and then they repeat the cycle because they've never gotten the help that they need.
Mm-hmm.
They age out of the system. When I aged out of the system, I didn't know how to drive. I didn't know how to do finances. I didn't even know anything about taxes at that point. And humiliated. My husband was a very good husband who helped me. He's like, if you want to learn how to do it, let's learn how to do it. And he encouraged me to go to school, which I did. And not only did I get all those degrees, but before I went and got my 2 master's degrees, I went 3 years to financial school sitting in classes because I didn't know anything about school aid or federal grants or anything like that. So I sat in classes to learn how to do finances and taxes. So I also have 3 years in finance that I didn't get credit for. So,
on the flip side, look at you persevering out of the ashes, so to speak, and figuring things out for yourself rather than victimizing. You are an overcomer. Way to go, Lucinda.
Thank you. But I just want you guys to know I really appreciate what you guys are doing. Like I said, I just discovered your show a couple of weeks ago.
Thank you.
I'm really impressed with the people that you have on there.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to see people that are overcomers and really helping people realize the problem that we're having and that there is a solution. There is a happy ending. You don't have to be miserable. You don't have to, don't allow your abusers to have power over you. You can be happy, and I can be happy.
And that's probably the best revenge you can give is to have a better love. Like,
the more they told me I would be nothing, the more they told me that you're going to be a nothing. You're going to be some whore having 9, 20 children living on the street. Because my mother was a whore. My birth mother was. She lived at the dump as the local whore. I mean, I couldn't be any better than her. I mean, that's just all my foster parents would tell me. And I was like, I'm not going to do that. Nope. And my husband and I never had sex before we got married, all because I was determined, nope, that's not going to happen to me. Even though I was raped and abused in my foster homes, the one thing that my husband was respectful of my wishes not to do all that before marriage, because I wanted to be, like you said, people have a tendency to get in bad relationships because that's all they know.
Right.
And I wanted to be loved for who I was, not a physical relationship. So he respected that. And
plus, he was careful about any triggers you might have had or trauma.
Right. And he was very
Sounds
respectful.
like a good guy.
Yeah, we've been married 26 years. I have 6 beautiful children.
6?
And it's our one and only marriage, and we're still strong. And that's rare to have that. And I truly believe in helping families, and I'm really impressed with Mike. I would love Mike maybe afterwards show me how I could help, because I don't know how to do this blog stuff that somebody was like, you need to do blogging. So I was like, I want to hear how he does that.
Oh, he's got a beautiful one. I posted it on the Facebook Live, childabusesurvivor.net, but I posted his link underneath the comments.
I want to check that out.
It's really good. In fact, when he's joined, I was just telling him earlier today, when he joined the Moments of Clarity team, I was just grateful for volunteers to help. And then I looked at him you're fancy. He's got all this stuff behind him and everything. He's well spoken and he's doing it the right way. And I'm very, very impressed. I liked him before I knew he was all that, though.
Well, I would love to help. Like I said, that's what I do for a living. I'm an advocate, consultant, and counselor. I'm actually a chaplain counselor through the North American Mission Board. So, I just want to help people. That's all. I gave my book away for free. Never got any royalties off of it because I wanted to help people. I didn't want to make money off my story. So, Kate gave it away for free, and that's what I wanted. And then once they went out of business, I went ahead and last year self-published it, my first and second book into one off of Amazon. So
what's it called?
Still be in print. They meant it for evil, but God meant it for good.
Oh, nice. They meant it for evil. Post your link underneath the Facebook Live, okay?
All right. Well, thank you so much. I really
Thanks,
appreciate
Lucinda.
Thank you,
I'm
Lucinda.
really excited to have found your podcast or whatever it's called.
Radio show, but I am excited to have you here. Welcome to the team.
Thank you. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for calling in. And wow, you see how some people can really persevere and overcome and live life to the fullest, no matter who knocks them down in the beginning. That's just that's great. And I keep meeting more and more people like that are stronger because of bad things, Mike, we have Joe on the line. No, we don't. He dropped off. Oh, okay.
Oh, well.
Call back, Joe. Anyway, so, so see how many people you're already helping, Mike. And you out of the 18 years, I can tell you probably realize how not alone you are.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It definitely has helped. I think, one of the things that, like Lucinda was talking about, starting a blog and doing all that kind of stuff. I will say, and hopefully she's still listening, that you can make it as difficult as you want it to be. Like, so I work with technology for a living, so mine is a lot more complicated. But you can also just go to WordPress.com and sign up for a blog and not have to do any of the technology. So you can make that super easy for yourself. If you
From
wanted to do that.
coming from a IT guy, though, you're like, oh, it's easy. You mean we click the left button